Hello, welcome to Keep It Pacific. I'm your host as always, Elaine, and today I'm joined by our other host, say hi. And
Hello.
today we have a very special guest. We have Nikki here on the pod. So we're very excited to talk to them and hear from them. How are you doing today?
I am doing good. Work ran a little late, but it is what it is. We we survive and we thrive. That is the words I was looking for.
Yeah, I totally understand. It's okay because it gave me time to get back from class and then also eat some pho and just. Kiki and I are really laid back with the way we run this thing anyway. We're just happy to have you. So,
Yeah.
Of course. It sounds like a great afternoon if you ask me.
yeah, it was pretty good. And today is my Friday, so this is like the
Ooh.
perfect end to my like work week. It's just to come on here and sit down with you. So I'm excited to get into this. Before we get too into the questions we have for you, we
Mhm.
do some community shout-outs, just kind of some try and highlight some people doing great things this past week in the gender minority community, our little subsection in Flesh and Blood. And so the first one is congratulations to Mara, who won the Battle Harden in DC, I believe it was. Yeah. I don't know if anyone watched that coverage. I also saw that Mara.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it. I think it was like over an hour long, but Mara put out like I'm sure it's like a deck tech video for Dash.io. I haven't had the
Very
chance to
cool.
watch, but I can link that in the description for this week also. Is that what?
Is that the one with Fino? Or is that a different discussion thing? Is that like the kind of interview thing that she did with Fino?
Potentially. I haven't watched it. I've
Maybe.
just seen the link floating around some discords I'm in. So yeah.
Yeah. Also in videos we have Yuki, who's been, up there, one of the more known names within the Flesh and Blood community as a whole. She's been releasing a lot of her old Patreon stuff as like free to access, but also doing some draft kind of stuff for Rosetta. So if you're like me and you're unprepared for Worlds, in whatever way, shape, or form that may be, if you want to get a little bit better and learn from one of the best, Yuki's putting stuff out there for you to kind of like test and see if it's the kind of thing that you want to delve into with her Patreon falling onto that as well. So look out for those too. Is there anybody you've noticed in the Flesh and Blood community that's doing
so I've
some great
noticed
stuff?
Taylor Crawford is doing a lot of work for Oscillo, which makes me very happy. I think he's actually streaming his Oscillo build today, which is very cool. Yeah. I think the wizard bunny
Amazing.
thing is very neat, and I'm happy to see people actually trying to tech it now and make it good.
There we go. Amazing. Our co-host here, Elaine, loves some lightning wizard herself.
Yeah, I do love, and I
makes
have
it
been
very well
trying
known.
out. Taylor Crawford's is one of the Osilia decks that I have been trying out because in Taylor Crawford we trust. So
Yes. Yes, Taylor is very big brained.
yes, very big brain, very good player, and also just like a really nice, cool person too. I love Taylor.
Oh
Yeah.
Taylor was actually when I went to the Realm qualifier a couple weeks ago. Taylor was my round one opponent. We were both playing Enigma, and it was his first time ever playing Enigma, and I got my break speed in. It was quite a fun game to play.
Yeah, not something that's like the easiest to get into.
Yeah.
In fact,
Illusionist mirrors are
mirrors.
tough, to say the least.
Yeah, I know nothing about them,
sure.
and I as a player, and I don't really want to. Illusionist
What is Is CYB Enigma not just the most alluring thing you've ever seen?
Not for me personally. I would have other words for it, but
don't worry, I feel like most people also have those same words.
yeah. But yeah, okay, so we are going to jump into some questions that we have prepared for you. And the first set of them are just kind of like Fab related questions. You started playing this game, and then this past season, you competed in the league that Kiki and myself host, the Rainbow Pitch League. And so we just kind of were curious, what was that experience like being someone who was very new to Flesh and Blood and then immediately jumping into this this league? Did you enjoy it, or you want to speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, so first of all, the Rainbow Pitch League was very fun to compete in. Especially as a new player, I felt like in most of my matches, I wasn't being like super rules gated in those matches. Like they were still very like competitive and fun matches, but also all of my opponents also came from a standpoint of, hey, you should learn how to play this game the right way. Don't misplay. So like this is how you should have done that, taken that action. And yeah, it was just like a very fun and informative way to learn how to play this game on a more competitive scale.
Yes. Speaking of Enigma mirrors, I believe
round one against Ria.
Yeah, you were our first feature match of that game on an Enigma mirror.
Yeah, and my Enigma build for the league was not very good. It was like my first like Fab deck that I had built since like I'd first started playing, which I probably should have ran my Azalea deck thinking back anyways, but I had just gotten back into the game because of Part the Mistveil, because I fell in love with Enigma. So I was like, I'm going to play this hero. I like her a lot. We're going to send it. And my list was like mostly PTM, like bulk rares and commons.
You said...
Yeah, for sure. I remember looking at that deck list and seeing like 2 Wolves and 1 of Majestics, and I'm like, this is either a really interesting choice.
No, it was literally just
haven't had
what
access to the cards
I
yet.
pulled before deck submissions were finalized.
Had you played, you said like getting back into the game because of Part the Mistveil. Had you tried the game before, or?
Yeah, around, I think it was Heavy Hitters, I was going to my LGS a lot more, and my friend, Flesh and Blood is his like favorite game ever. He's a diehard Fi player, and he had been like pestering me for months to try the game. So we got the IRA test decks out or whatever. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but we got those, and he taught me how to play. And then after we went into the back and sat down with all of the Flesh and Blood bulk they had and put together an Azalea deck. And that was my first experience with like actually playing this game.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm gonna have to talk to you about this after the pod for, to not expose safety stuff. But I believe we used to have the same locals. Like our locals just barely overlapped. So we'll have to...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah. But yeah, so since getting back into the game, you've said you like Ocilio, you played Enigma in the league, you said that maybe you should have played Azalea, but I'm just kind of curious, like, who have your favorite heroes been so far, and what, or if any heroes draw you like specifically to them, and what it is about them that you like?
Yeah, so right now I would have to say my favorite hero is Aurora. I am very on the Lightning Runeblade train. I think Gone in a Flash is a very wicked card. It's also very good in Oscillo, so I'm like very into the Lightning class right now. Though I will say I'll always have a soft spot for Enigma because it is what brought me back into this game. So I think Enigma is like my number one choice for hero, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That kind of makes sense, especially with your love of matching everything.
Blue is definitely my aesthetic.
I
I like the lighter shades of blue, the lilac-y type colors. They're very, very cool. And my Enigma Marvel was like my first Marvel I ever got for this game. So like,
Enigma's got some good blues too. Like blue is my favorite color. I love all colors, but blue's definitely my favorite. And I always give the justification that like there are no shades of blue that I don't like. Like every other color, there's a shade of that color that I don't like.
No,
But like all shades of blue are so pretty. Anyways, just a side.
I agree 100%. Like, I typically wouldn't have my LED strip that's in the background of my video feed be the white color, but my phone was dead when we started recording. It's usually blue. It's usually blue for every time I have video on, because it's just like, it's like such a perfect neutral color. It's not like too vibrant and it's not too dark. It's just like very calm and easy.
Yeah, big blue fans. Yeah. So I'm kind of curious. If I know this hero is only viable in Living Legend right now, but have you ever tried Briar? If you like the lightning class, have you tried Briar?
So I've played Briar in UPF.
Okay.
And that is my only experience with Briar. Back when I first had started mentioning Flesh and Blood on my content channels was back around Heavy Hitters and the Tulare Community College box. And MinMax saw my post and was like, hey, let us send you some stuff to get started with this game. And they sent me the UPF box, and I brought it to my LGS, and we played UPF like 6 times, and I haven't touched it since. UPF is a very interesting format.
Yeah. With a game that's like Flesh and Blood, it's very it feels very intended for one-on-one. Like it doesn't quite cater to multiplayer games as well as other games do, just due to the fact that, you know, the tempo comes from your hand, and then having to defend means that you have less offensive options, and that's a bit harder when you have multiple opponents. So it kind of makes sense.
No, yeah.
It definitely appeals to some people. There's definitely a format for it and a place for it.
Yeah. We gotta love multiplayer format in this fighting game S-card game that we play.
Yeah, I haven't played UPF in years, actually. Like when I first started playing, sometimes if we had like a weird format night at my LGS, we would just like have our weird decks, like commoner decks or whatever, and we'd be like, let's play a game of UPF with these just for fun. And then I am that person who's like, I just like UPF for the politics. Like I'm going to start an alliance and then break that alliance and like turn. Like I am that.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you play Melody, don't you?
I am that person who's like, I'm just here
the unassuming person in the corner.
Yep. I just want it for the chaos.
Speaking of chaos on UPF, the last time I played it, funnily enough, one of the people played a Singleton Yorick deck, which was absolutely wild. And he got really excited because he went on turn 0 and played Showtime, searched for a card, and arsenaled it. And then I drew the one copy of like Chains of whatever it was. The one that you named.
Oh, Chains of Eminence. I think.
So I ended up. Yeah, I played correct. I played the Chains of Eminence, naming the card he searched for, and he couldn't play it for the rest of the game because it was like an 11
That's so rude. It's great.
The game also incidentally ended on this fake card here, which you can't really read the text of, but it's a custom card that somebody made for my birthday. It's got my nails on it, and it reads, if you pitch this card, as it's a fable, you open 4 booster packs, and if you open a legendary or a fable, you win the game. So I brought 4 booster packs with me, and somebody pitched this and opened the Arknight Shard. So the game ended very spontaneously in the middle of it. And that's the last time my friends and I played UPF.
That sounds like a very fun game of UPF.
Yeah.
It was until it ended and nobody expected it to.
I love that. I've seen that custom token. I've seen you post it before, Kiki. That's so cool. I don't know if you know, Nikki, but Kiki's you both actually have really just like iconic nails. I think you're known for.
You know. It happens.
Mine definitely don't reach the mark right now compared to
these daggers come at a price. Shuffling takes me 10 more minutes than it used to. Yeah. Oh, sleeving decks. Unsleeving decks
Awful.
is even worse.
Unsleeving.
Unsleeving is even worse. Don't get me started on cutting my opponent's deck. It's a landslide every time. The things we do. It's worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
So moving like the conversation more into the content realm of Flesh and Blood, because you are like a big content creator as a mass following. How have you found making content for Flesh and Blood?
Yeah, Flesh and Blood has been a really interesting game to make content for, because this game is like so different in terms of like what I'm used to in terms of making content. Like Magic the Gathering is a very different card game than Flesh and Blood is, so making that content is a bit different because of all like the rules nuances, and you're speaking in terms of a 1v1 card game versus a card game that is 4 players typically, so it's very interesting, but I've had a lot of fun doing it. It's been really fun exploring Flesh and Blood as a card game in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're making this kind of content and you're like aiming this more towards this one-on-one kind of community versus like the multiplayer one, what kind of changes do you have to make to kind of cater to a different audience as such? Not just because it's a different card
you
game,
kind of
but
have
it's
to
like
like
a different mindset.
Change your train of thought and think of cards that would be good in a 1v1 mindset versus that multiplayer mindset. Because say, God, there was a card I was looking at the other day that I thought would be really good in UPF, but I can't think of it right now. There's certain cards that are like feel like they're meant to have multiple players on a table, versus in Flesh and Blood, most of the cards feel like they are meant for the 1v1 situations.
It's really interesting. I've never thought about like how that aspect of making content would like translate across the games and across making content that's for a game that's normally played as a 4-person versus a 1v1.
Yeah. And it's been like a large learning curve too, since I'm also still newer to the game. I have to like, I'll be like looking at cards and like, oh, I've never seen this before. You know, it's like this game's been going for 5 years now, and I'm still in like month 6 of knowing the game.
Yeah, it's okay. I still feel like that sometimes, especially after we get a new set, or like someone will bring up a card.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm like, I've never seen that before, and then it's like, oh, it came out in this like deck, you know, like in this deck or in this now CC deck. So for me, that has not gone away. I remember like when I was a new player to this game, though, it just felt like there was so much to like catch up on in a way, and like learn.
100%.
Yeah, and it was like I can't even imagine now that the game was not that 2 years old at that point versus now 5 years old. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, like literally in terms of like Aurora, I had never seen the card Snatch until I started looking at deck lists for Aurora. And then I found out Snatch is played in a lot more decks than just Aurora. And I was just like, how have I not seen this card?
Yeah.
That's going back to May times.
Yeah.
That's how old it is, kind of thing, you know? Like, that was and included so many decks back then. And while the number is definitely smaller now, it's definitely still got a place in the game with a ridiculous power level, especially with like go again enablers like the Quicken tokens, like the Lightning embodiments, like the other Quicken-ish token, Agility. Definitely has a place.
Yeah,
as like
it's
a
interesting.
kind of
Snatch, like when I first started playing this game, was like such a staple card, and then it did kind of like fall out a little bit for a while, and then now it's like resurfaced because it's so good. I mean, drawing cards is like the best thing you could do.
Oh yeah, everyone loves the phrase "draw a card." It's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, definitely. So as I said before, you have like a fairly sizable following on Twitter or X, I guess is the correct
Yeah,
terminology for it
it
now.
it's Twitter.
It's Twitter. It'll always be Twitter in
It's
my
Twitter.
mind.
That's Twitter.
Agreed.
It's like every time I say X, I'm like formerly known as Twitter.
No, yeah, you have to include it somewhere.
Right. Otherwise, if someone actually said X to me, I still to this day I don't know if I would catch on to what they were talking about.
No, agreed. Agreed. 100%.
uh, but anyway, because of your following on Twitter, how important do you, like how much importance do you place on kind of cultivating these online communities?
Yeah, these online communities are like so important. In fact, I think there's like in the year that we live in 2024, it's harder to make those kind of connections in like our day-to-day lives. Like we all spend so much time like on the internet, whether it's teching decks or just bed rotting after work or doing whatever we do. And it's nice to be able to have these communities that we can talk to while we're sitting alone in our beds, because like I'm not going to call up my friend who lives 20 minutes down the street because we don't talk about all the same things anymore. So it's nice to like look down in my phone and see all these little people I can just say hey to, and we're going to like have this phenomenal conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I kind of feel that way
Mhm.
about the Flesh and Blood community as a whole. In my experience, at the very least,
Mhm.
like, I'm from a very small country, and as diverse and like, yeah, as diverse as I want my friend group to be. I don't always have access to that within my own local communities and stuff. Like, I love my player base. I wish it was more diverse. It's like almost entirely men with like, I think like a handful of non-binary and woman players in our community.
Same.
Um,
No,
yeah,
agreed.
they're all lovely people though.
Agreed.
Like I love them all. They're very respectful, right? But like, it's kind of nice. Like, and like in my case in particular, I imagine somewhat like yours as well, to have a whole bunch of like queer folk within the trading card
Yes,
space
exactly.
online as well, or women in the space as well. Because card games aren't card game communities
No,
aren't all just
exactly.
about card games. Realistically, like we all kind of communicate as people as well, and have other human interests. So, yeah, no, I definitely agree with like placing a big importance on it, and also like being not reliant on it, but like
No, 100%.
getting a lot from
It's kind of
having
like
online communities.
it's kind of like, I don't want to say like a reliability thing, but it's like people you can like typically count on. You know what I mean? Like I've found more people online that I can reliably count on to be like, hey, I've had a bad day. Can you talk for like 5 minutes? Than I have within my like local community, which is wild to say.
Yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
definitely. It's as someone who's also like moved a lot since I
Also,
started playing this game. Um, like it's weird that my local community has changed like
Mm-hmm.
4 times at this point, because of how many times I've moved. But it's like the online community is like still brings me that sense of like consistency, even though they're not my locals. It's like these are my,
Oh
it's
yeah.
like these are my people. That's really nice. I haven't been on Twitter really at all in the past like 2 weeks, just because I've been absurdly busy. And it's like I miss my friends.
No, exactly, right? Like this past week when I was like without power, if I had not had cell service, I probably would have drove myself like up the wall, because I was able to contact those online communities that I'm like regularly talking to, and they helped keep me sane in a time when there was nothing else for me to do besides look at the wall.
Yeah, yeah. Are you okay? By the way,
No, yeah, we're completely fine. The worst of it that we got was just our power being out for 6 days because of a couple trees and power lines being down on our road, but we had a generator, so that helped us keep like our food safe and like us being able to like charge our phones and stuff like that.
that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah,
Mhm.
6 days is still like a very long time.
6 days and many cold showers. Mm.
Is a generator like a
Where
common
I
thing to
live,
have
because I'm
over
out
there?
in the middle of like nowhere, it's something that we like typically keep because in North Carolina, we're not prepared for any kind of like hurricane or like ice storm and just being trapped in our house for a few days. So it's just something that is like I've found to be slightly more common, especially when I was younger, because we had a lot more snowstorms and things like that that would
Right.
kick off our power for multiple days.
Yeah, I grew up in
Right.
South Louisiana, so that's everyone has it. Everyone,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone has a generator.
I think it's just a southern thing, really, like a southern United States thing.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone up here would have a like now I live in New York City. I don't think anyone owns a generator. That would kind of be crazy actually if they did.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, growing up in an area where you get hit by several natural disasters that'll knock out your power within the span of months. Yeah, everyone has one.
Goodness.
Anyway, I'm glad you're okay.
Wow.
I definitely can relate and understand that hurricanes are not fun to.
Spooky.
Yeah, spooky.
Spookyville.
Yeah, a little spooky, especially when you lose power. And North Carolina, I think North Carolina got hit a lot harder than anyone really expected, and so
Yeah, I am very thankful I'm not a little closer up to like the Asheville area, because it could have been a whole lot worse. And I remember like a few days after I got power, I finally heard from one of my friends that lives up in that area, and I like cried because I was like, holy shit, I didn't know if you were alive. Like, and it was just like, it just made me thankful that it wasn't worse than it could have been for me.
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's really awful up there. Yeah, I know quite a few people who still have not been heard from. My dad has been sent out there. He's like a truck driver. He's been sent out there many times since the hurricane hit, bring supplies. Anyway, good thoughts and
Yeah, good happy thoughts
to everyone who's being affected, and
good happy thoughts. Viscerize good. Viscerize good again.
God.
Absurdly good. I'm
Absurdly
happy
good. Ridiculous
to see Viscerai do things again.
Yeah. Anyway, not sorry to delve into some serious talk.
Yeah.
This is kind of just how our podcast goes.
Yeah.
Listen.
We go real off track sometimes.
Yeah, we just run with it.
We just run with it, and usually it's kind of ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
This time is a little bit more serious, but
this is us. A bit chaotic, a bit disorganized.
Levia's doing things again. Levia. Two PQ wins so far.
Without Artivore.
Very cool to see Shadow Brute being relevant again.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started playing this game, my friend who's a Fi stan would like complain to me about he wanted to play Levia and how he missed Chain. And now it's cool to see the Shadow class coming back and like him being excited about a class again.
Yeah. I love Levia. I'm just surprised that she's doing well without Artivore. But I guess, if the format's a little bit slower than it was before, then like run with it. Like she has a high power ceiling, high damage output. Yeah, big fan. Love her.
I've
never played in an event, but I've tried.
I've never played her. I guess I played a little bit of Chain, but I really want a Shadow Warrior. I just want like a really like badass like warrior that's like death and really cool. And I don't know how mechanically it would work because that's not my thing. But I think aesthetically, it would be really cool. It'd be really badass. It's really the only word I have for it.
And specifically with no arcane damage, right?
Well,
'Cause
I
we don't want
think
to
that if having arcane damage would make the hero really good, then I would do it, because I would love I would love for once to play a hero that's dominant. But as long as it was a warrior.
What if there are reactions you could play from Banish or Blood Debt?
Mm.
Then it's kind of face up, your opponent can
Whether
see
they
it,
think
but then
you're
it's
gonna
up to
do it or
decide
not.
whether they
Yeah.
like commit to it or they just let you have it.
And it deals an arcane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to
You're welcome,
steal it,
Melissa,
Melissa. Just make sure the
for the
hero
idea.
looks really cool. Really cool and like
Listen,
gothic,
as long
yeah.
if we get another arcane set, I'll be happy if we don't get another full set of armor for a class that is just Spell Void and Blade Break, or whatever the assassin stuff was from Rosetta.
Arcane Barrier and Spell Void. Or is that it?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It took up too many of my M slots.
Oh, I think you're complaining about it as like a wizard
it
player.
just,
Like, they have
as
access
a
to
person
so
who
much
likes
barrier
to
now.
open product, it took up way too many of my M slots. I feel like I opened almost 2 full sets of that armor. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I didn't open a
Illusionist
single
also
one,
got
and I'm
full
so
pieces.
sad because I want them for Enigma.
I did really like the art on that armor, though. I thought that
No, the art
was-
is phenomenal, but like, make it a rare. Just make it a rare.
Did y'all see like the full piece of art with the
No,
four
I
people
didn't
wearing
see
them
that.
in
Yeah,
one
it's-
piece? That's
wait.
very cool. Yeah, so it's like cut up from like one image, right? Yeah, I believe it's cut up from one image, and there's 4 different people, and they're each wearing a different piece of that armor.
Interesting.
So it's not one person wearing
I'm
all
trying
of it.
to
It
find
exists
it.
somewhere on the
I
internet.
saw it on Twitter
I'm pretty
too,
sure I saw it on
and
Twitter.
I feel like I know who tweeted about it, and now I'm trying to find it.
I'm very intrigued to see it.
Well,
Is this the kind of thing
Oh,
where
probably,
we should just put the image
yeah.
up on like the videos for like viewers?
yeah, definitely. For our audio listeners, it looks really cool, and that's
Yeah. Audio listeners, you will love this section of the video.
That's your
or
audio.
the podcast.
If we can find it, I'll put it up, and then the audio listeners will just know that it's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that was his Wardy did it.
So what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncle.
While you're trying to find this, Nikki, what are your hopes for the minority community
put
in
up
Flesh and Blood?
More W's. I want to see all of us rise to the top and take these wins because we all deserve it. We all deserve all the wins, and we all deserve to come together more as a community and just like be some of the best players, because I know the minority community in this game has some of the best players.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like that was kind of our intention with the league in the first place. Like, especially if we look at players after the first season of the RXPL, we had people like our winner Mercy, who ended up joining Ascent, I believe, and being one of those competitive players that people respect and kind of look up to, ask for opinions and stuff. And of course, we have players like Ellie as well, who was just trying to break into the competitive scene leading up to the first season, and now she's like
Ellie.
everywhere. She's doing commentary. She's top 8ing things.
Ellie, if
she's
you're
writing
watching
articles.
this, it's Perry. Perry the
1000%.
platypus.
Yeah. I'm like,
This
okay.
sounds contentious.
So
what's
when
happening?
Ellie
I
and
need some
I
context.
first like spoke to each other for the first time, it was 6 platypus gifts back to back to back to back to back. It was the most funny thing in the world. And now it's like basically how we communicate at all times.
I love that.
Just platypus.
Yeah.
It's great. 10 out of 10 meme.
I love that. Yeah.
I love that. Did somebody forget who Perry was? Did he just see this like kind of teal platypus and be like, "Heh, whimsical,"
So the
without
reason I
knowing that
say
it's
it
like,
that way
you
is
know,
because I
a
don't think we've
super
actually
genius,
sent
like,
each
type?
other a single Perry the Platypus gif. It's just been all other platypus. So this is me calling the shot of sending Perry first. Yeah.
I didn't even.
Okay.
Is it
okay.
real platypus, or is it
Well,
other? Are there other
It's just other
animated?
animated platypus and like drawn and cartoon platypus. Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
when this video goes up, someone's gonna have to link it to her and just be like, "Hey,
yeah,
this is for you." We're not gonna tell you why, but you've just been sent a platypus via podcast.
It's the best way to communicate, obviously. And then Ellie will have to go on a different podcast or y'all's podcast in like another couple weeks and send a platypus back to me. That's just it's the way the cookie crumbles. Yeah.
Well, there you go, Ellie. If you want to join us in a couple weeks'
For
time,
the sake of the platypus.
Oh,
wait, that's Worlds.
Oh, podcast at Worlds.
Yeah, we'll be doing something.
There's definitely plans for something.
Who knows what?
You definitely should.
Who knows? It will.
It will be our first time meeting, so yeah.
What if we hate each other? I'm joking.
Oh no.
Oh
no.
I'm joking. I don't think. Yeah.
Okay, we have different accommodations. It's fine.
I don't think that'll happen. So, yeah, I think it'll be fine.
It should be fine.
I think we'll be
I
good.
would hope it would be
I think
fine.
it'll be okay.
I just said that for the drama. I'm not actually concerned about that.
Oh.
I was like briefly.
Is there a
like,
flesh and blood drama channel of any kind?
You could start one.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. I'll start the channel.
Wow, wait. It would be actually
Reporting the news.
What if it was like clickbait where we were like, we hate each other. We met and now we met and we hate each other, and it's like clickbait and we make up a whole.
The first video is a super big clickbait of while y'all are both at Worlds.
Yeah, like we could probably.
Perfect Pitch podcast breaks up. Newsflash: they hate each other.
I would probably get a lot of attention. Oh,
yeah,
that'd be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be wild. But we've just also talked about it,
Yeah,
and unless we cut this out of the video, people who see that might have
maybe-
also seen this.
Maybe they just like will go with it anyways. You know.
They might. They might just see exactly how we break.
I
it,
feel
you
like.
know?
Yeah.
Maybe we swung with our
even
heroes
if
one too many times. Like,
even if they listen to this, if the video came out, I think they'd have to be like, wait, is it real or are they just still memeing?
Or is it just the meme?
Right. And then they'd have to
Exactly.
like watch it and find out if it's real.
Find out there's a Rickroll at the end of it.
Yeah. Or maybe there won't be.
Or maybe there won't be. Or maybe there really won't be, because I thought I heard somewhere that they took a Rickroll down from YouTube completely.
Really?
Like the video's just gone.
Wait.
I thought I saw a post about that recently.
Okay, I'm
'Cause of, like,
inserting a
copyright issues?
Rickroll right now into the podcast. Can you imagine? No, wait, that's crazy, and I also feel like you're trying to Rickroll.
what if we
me
started
and
with
saying
one as
that.
the intro?
Am I? I don't think I am.
don't know.
I'm gonna look it up, but I don't. Yeah, I think it was either a TikTok or a Twitter post.
Wow. Was it?
I mean, that's not to say that like all the like knockoff repostings of it are gone, but I think they took down the original from what I was told.
and that
No, it's still there. I was lied to.
you were Rickrolled.
Oh, you can never trust anything you see on TikTok, I swear.
Yeah, TikTok is it's because you can just lie on TikTok for fun, for no reason.
And you'll get and you'll get thousands of views and clicks for
It's
it.
true.
Right. That's what Kiki and I are gonna do when we announce that we hate each other.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, I didn't actually eat a fruits of the forest. Just putting it out there.
See, I think to repent, you should eat a full rainbow. Count your blessings. It's girl dinner. Has it? Oh,
That's already
did
been
Rhea
done,
do
right?
that? Yeah.
That's Rhea's thing.
I thought. Yeah.
I don't know if
thought
you ate
Rhea
a whole one,
like,
but
one.
I still haven't watched
It's
that video.
girl dinner.
I could be wrong. Count your blessings is just girl dinner.
It's just girl dinner.
Count your blessings.
Oh my god, obsessed. This is so blurry.
Christ. So,
No, that
earlier we were talking about the bunny wizard. My friend talked about the other day doing a build of new that was just a bunch of pump spells and attacks, and it inspired me to build an Oscillo deck that's just a bunch of attacks and pump spells, and it runs Talishar.
what?
It's bunny beats and it's funny. Oh, this art is so good, actually.
It's really blurry for some reason.
It's really blurry, but it's really good.
It's yeah. And it's up on the
For
screen
the audio
right
listeners, we found the art.
Oh, but sorry, you're an audio listener, so you can't see it.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. But it's really beautiful.
Okay, so set in the pits, there are 4 heroes of various sizes. Some are big, some are small. They have a light blue, kind of cyanish teal glow to them. They look kind of ghostly, and all of their armor is pointy and spiky and kind of resembles the letter R.
I
in some way,
wish
shape,
I
or
looked
form.
like the one that was front and center.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I kind of think
Oh, yeah.
that.
I don't
kind
know.
of think you do. Actually,
I don't know the one-
I think you can pull this off.
I don't know if I could pull that off. But I like her hair. It's very, very wispy and cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And flowy.
It's beautiful.
And blue?
Oh,
Almost.
Almost.
Assassin
Illusionistic.
Illusionist win?
Oh,
Illusionist Assassin?
my god.
Oh my goodness.
I am looking at this Ocilio deck. right now.
Please do.
Fake daggers at
It's
you.
my very silly, very unserious love child.
Oh my god. Wow. This is so
Talishar Oscilio. It's funny.
this is really funny.
It's just a funny little deck.
We'll post a link of this.
Please do.
We'll put a link
Yeah,
of this
we'll
in the
put this in
description
the
so you can
description.
judge
Pick a
how
card,
silly
any
this deck
card.
is.
First of all, I open it up and I see Cracker Jacks, Talishar, and then Gorg Tome, Captain's Call, pick a card, any card. Read the Ripples, everyone's favorite card.
Everyone's favorite wizard card.
Favorite wizard card, yeah. Ah, this is hilarious.
I built this at like 3 a.m. one night just off of vibes. I went through and was like, is this a generic attack that a wizard could play? Sure, it's in the deck.
Sift, of course. This is fun.
It does
This
have
deck
3
has
a.m.
3
vibes.
a.m. vibes.
This
Sure.
There is one card that's technically a wizard attack.
Oh, yeah.
The wager gold thing has the keyword universal, whereas every class. I can't remember what the attack is actually called though, but it's a 3-cost 7 in red, and it's every class. So therefore, you could play it in this deck as a literal wizard attack.
I did play this deck on Talishar the other day against the Levia deck, and I almost won. 3 points off of winning. 3 points off, and I swung Talishar 3 times.
was the chat turned on for that
Beautiful.
game?
We were chatting in Discord.
Oh, okay. You knew this.
It was someone
knew
I
this
knew.
too.
Yeah.
Say, if I got paired into an Ocilio and I entered the game and I saw Talishar, immediately I'd be like, enable chat. Enable chat. What is this? Tell me more. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good deck by any means, but it is definitely a deck of all time. In fact,
It is 60 legal.
I'll do.
Yeah, that's the other thing. This I love that it is just 60 cards.
We don't need a
No
sideboard. We
sideboard.
don't need a sideboard.
Pile,
None of that.
it's
We
like
don't. No inventory needed.
Pile, Wombat, Ocilio. It's
What?
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Ocilio is no longer a bunny bot. It is the Wombat bot.
Wombat bot. Wombat.
Wombat. Yes, exactly.
Wombat?
Oh my god. Okay.
Mm-mm.
You know, if you wanted to play a wizard that actually attacks, there is one that exists. She doesn't wear shoes, and she's a bit floral, but, like, you know, there is an attacking wizard technically. I just feel really left out with both of you being, like, lightning mains. And here's me with my broccoli and my fruits of the forest.
When I opened a box the other day, I opened her feet, and my friend screamed at the top of his lungs. So I think she has some cadence in Flesh and Blood. It's not the right cadence that she should be carrying, because she's a very good hero, but there's some cadence.
I think that's my favorite way to describe somebody who's going feral.
Did y'all see the post about her foot card being at SCG Con listed for like $3?
Yes.
In the case, it was so funny.
Yes, it was like $3. It was like, okay, wait, what's going?
Someone has priorities.
Hold on.
They're not the right ones, but they're priorities.
I still remember when the premiere was happening, and it was the first like puzzle piece that I saw, and I think I was one of the first people to post about it on social media as well as a result of that, because I was just like half drunk posting everything I saw, and I was just like, why is there just feet on this card? I'm so confused. Like, do they know exactly who they're catering to? Like, if so, this is a genius marketing ploy, but why does this card just have feet? What's going on? Can I play like a 9-card hero?
Geniuses over there.
I say, I think they did the puzzle piece cards as a cover up just to put just feet on a card. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like, they just had to do that because they couldn't release a card of just feet. I got like a text from a friend over that weekend who I got like a screenshot of the feet card on Twitter, and they were like, they used to play this game and they don't really play this game anymore, but they were just like, is this real? What's happening in Flesh and Blood? And I was like, yes and no. It is real. The answer is yes and no. Like, it was really funny.
You can open this in a booster pack.
You can open a cold foil insert in a booster pack. Yeah. Thinking about using it as my rune chant.
It's gonna make some people's collection. Oh.
Yeah.
That would be pretty fancy.
It
does
is.
look nice. It's a very aesthetic card for what it's worth, and I'm sure.
Okay, I do think we had one more like real question.
Yeah.
It is arguably an important
question,
I would say. We're just, you know, we've touched on the fact that you came from Magic the Gathering, and Flesh and Blood is not your first TCG. I'm actually, another side question. Have you played, besides Magic and Flesh and Blood, have you played other TCGs or?
I have. I currently play the One Piece TCG every now and then. I play Boa Hancock. She's very fun and bouncy. And not in that way, you heathens. You heathens, I know you're going. I know where your brain is going. I
was only thinking about returning characters to my hand to trigger effect.
My first TCG ever was actually Duel Masters.
Oh.
And I wish Wizards would bring that card game back to the United States so I could play it again. So I have friends in Japan who post about it and show me pictures of it, and it makes me so sad that I can't play it. It's such a fun game. Are you going to show me some Duel Master
It seems
cards?
like Kiki has something.
Okay. No, it's not on my shelf currently, but I have like.
Yeah, same.
It was the first game that got me into trading card games in like a tournament setting.
Ooh,
so I still have an Alcadeus
cool.
that I keep in a case, just because I've always been about angelic.
It is what it is. The angels are good. I also am getting back into the Pokemon TCG. because there's a very cool Bayonet deck, and Bayonet's my favorite Pokemon to ever exist. And I still, yeah,
Peruvian Gardevoir.
and I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like once every 2 years.
Okay.
I have a deck, and I'll play it.
So
when
you play
people
one game?
ask me to, if I'm in the mood for it, which is rare.
I've never played Yu-Gi-Oh, but I do have a friend that I like joke that like Yu-Gi-Oh is their Stockholm syndrome because like I've never heard them say anything good about it, but they are still like not let it go. And I'm just like, is this a healthy relationship? Are you okay?
It's not.
It's not.
It's not a healthy relationship
I don't think
at all.
Well, yeah, so you have tons of experience in card games and TCGs and other gaming spaces. So I was just wondering, are there like other initiatives besides just like the online communities and like initiatives like ours, like the Rainbow Pitch League and VML and Magic? But are there other initiatives that you would like to see in Fab to help cultivate inclusion and safe spaces?
Yeah, I would like to see the organization I'm a part of in the Magic Space, Birds of Paradise, introduce Fab to its repertoire. They typically do like mostly standard and CDH type things, but I would love to introduce Fab to all of the birds and get them into this community because I genuinely think a lot of them would enjoy this game.
Yeah. I'm a little familiar with Birds of Paradise from VML because VML's done collaborations with that group, and really cool stuff.
She's a good bean.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Do you want to speak a little bit about that organization for our listeners who might not be familiar?
Yeah, Birds of Paradise is an organization that seeks to uplift the voices of marginalized genders and races in the community, and they typically do fundraisers for different marginalized folks to attend the larger events for Magic, and they'll do charity events like they did a standard league or a standard tournament a couple weeks ago. They're doing some fundraising here soon. I don't know if I can talk about it yet. But they typically have a stall at most like major Magic related events. You should go see them and talk to them. They're a bunch of sweet baby birds. Bunch of sweet babes.
That's so wholesome. Love that. With the stuff they kind of do like in events, is there anything that we as a community can kind of implement into our events?
So typically like at their stalls, it'll be like a small play area that like teaches people how to play the game. Typically, they do like drafts or Jumpstart. If you're familiar with what, I know you're both familiar with Jumpstart, but they do like Jumpstart. I remember in Vegas or it was Chicago, they did a section of time where they made friendship bracelets. That was really cute and fun. And they just do like all kind of little activities like that, just to like bring the community together. Yeah,
really cute stuff. I know they've done like arts and crafts like type of stuff. Yeah. Big fan of their work from what I know about it. So yeah, really cute.
We love to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's all the questions we had prepared. We can sit on here and talk some more if anyone or we can call it a night. Is there any Kiki? I don't know if you had any more questions, anything you wanted to add to the conversation.
I think we just kind of like ad-libbed things as we went on. Like anything that I kind of wanted to ask, I just jumped in there with. Yeah.
Something. Bunny bought Talishar or something.
Yeah, not to put you on the spot. Just wanted to, in case anything came up. And is there, also to you, Nikki, anything that you want to add before we wrap it up?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
My brain is a little fried.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, totally understand. This was so much fun. Such
No,
a
you're
joy to
good.
have you.
Mhm.
Thank you for coming on.
Of
I also
course.
want to give you the opportunity to plug all of your socials, anything that you might be involved in, where the viewers can find you.
Mhm. Awesome. Yeah, like we just talked about, check out the Birds of Paradise. There's lots of good birds involved. And if you want to find my content specifically, it is at Nikki Jaee SFW. Be sure to put the SFW, I beg. I beg. And yeah, I make Flesh and Blood YouTube videos when I feel like it. And I used to make magic videos. I'm not going to do that much anymore, though. So otherwise, you can find me on like Twitter or Instagram doing the postings and whatnot. And
Yeah.
that's me.
And I can link all of that in the description. Also, if you send me
Please do.
the Birds of Paradise link, I can put that in there as well. And
I definitely will.
yeah.
I definitely will get you that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Kiki,
Of course.
a chance to plug yourself, our host.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Kiki_LA93. You can also
Oh.
find me on TikTok because I made one of those
TikTok.
finally. And you can watch what I eat in a day as a fab player. So also on TikTok at
Perfect.
Kiki_LA93.
Thank you. And I myself am on Twitter under eHamOnTree. 3 words, ham on tree, like bacon on bush, pork on shrubbery. And
I love it.
as always, thank you for listening and thank you for joining us, Nikki. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye.